Well, that was some card. That was some pay-per-view. AEW Revolution. Jeez. But hello, everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Joel True and Love. Um, Here with your AEW Revolution 2022 pay-per-view review, and boy, you know. When I was watching the highlights of this pay-per-view, I just it's almost flabbergasting or almost a shock of sorts, like how it just keeps getting better. The AEW, it just keeps getting better. All Out last September was very, very good, very, very good, and had the match of the year. Young Bucks, Lucha Brothers, like fantastic steel cage match. Full Gear in November was something just great, just great. In the culmination of Hangman's run to the world title, now Revolution, and it's funny with all the new acquisitions because coming into All Out in September, how the roster looked compared to now, it's just it's loaded. You don't know what to say. It's just the roster is just filled with depth and depth. You'll have to see it. And tonight we had two, or last night rather, two very good debuts. Very good debuts. Swerve, Shane Strickland, aka the former Isaiah Swerve Scott, and William Regal. William freaking Regal. William Regal, who has been with WWE for the better part of the last 20 years, has been the NXT general manager and behind the scenes the last 7 years prior to NXT 2.0, but I'll get into more of that in a bit. But thank you for joining me. If you're new to the podcast, if you want to see more, uh, these pro wrestling reviews, you can find them on the homepage. Click that subscription. It's there. You can find all the videos in the subscription box. But yeah, thank you. And before I get into the main card, the buy-in was very good, very good. I mean that was what a buy-in should be, pretty much. But the buy-in, three really good matches, or I would say solid affairs, rather. But you know, starting off with Layla Hirsch versus Chris Allen, the match was actually okay. You know, they've been pushing Layla Hirsch a bunch more recently with this feud. Chris Statlander, Chris Statlander, one of the best in the business. Definitely my favorite when it comes to the AEW Women's Division. She has gone. She looks like she's changing her, I guess, gimmick a little differently than how it was when she was brought in here in AEW. But, I think we just need to see more Aew Hirsch because, she's good. It's just not a lot of people are invested in her. But the match is okay. Hirsch got that MMA psyche about her. She was targeting Chris's arm. Chris followed up with a power slam for a near fall. Chris was locked in the tree of woe, so she was pretty much stuck as far as, and she caught a drop kick to the elbow. They were on the apron, and Hirsch hit her Karana would look kind of ugly for both women on the outside to the mat below. And then Hirsch followed up with a Saito suplex and a German for a near fall. And they were battling on the top rope. Statlander landed a reverse electric chair off the top rope. Hit a Michinoku driver for a 2 count. Then Hirsch was on the outside. She grabbed in another, but this time exposed turnbuckle. Wiped it over Statlander's head, knocking her out. Hit springboard moonsault for the win. Hirsch gets the victory. Red Velvet came down to check on Chris Statlander, but Hirsch gets the win. Statlander, I kind of think now these ladies need more direction. I think that's the bottom line. Statlander we know is great. Hirsch, still, like I said, people need to get more invested in her. And that's the problem. I guess people are just not really invested in Leo Hirsch, but we'll see. And then I got pumped up for a moment, but still I was happy with what happened. So Tony Schiavone was in the ring announcing there was a special guest coming out. We heard Kenny Omega's music, and of course, the quick effect, think, oh, Kenny Omega's coming out. Then you realize, once you saw Don Callis, it obviously made more sense. I mean, Kenny Omega on the buy-in after all his time away, it made sense. Don Callis, great to see Don Callis back. Of course, he got no love from the crowd in Orlando, shouting, "Shut the F up." Don Callis he knows how to be hated. He knows how to be hated, which you love. So he blamed the crowd for Kenny's hiatus, said he was looking at the card and Kenny was disgusted. So he said that he feels the Bucks will win the titles back in the Triple Threat Tag Team match. And he said that Adam Cole will beat Hangman and Page only to be a transitional champion for when Kenny Omega reappears. And there was that. But good to see Don Callis back. Obviously, Kenny Omega is going to make his return sooner rather than later. So, I mean, of course, people hearing Kenny Omega's music is going to be pumped to see him back. But, it's the buy-in. Just a little more patience. Just a little more patience for all the spectators missing Kenny Omega. Hook. We got a Hook sighting and at Revolution's buy-in. He was out there versus QT Marshall. This was, understandable why this wasn't on the main show. But I mean, it's fun and hysterical to see because considering how over Hook is, and he's still very young, he's only wrestled a few months, and his popularity is just there. And his music fits him well. It just is what it is. He comes in, kicks ass, and then leaves. But this was short, obviously, but good. So, Hook was. Now, this was also funny. That Hook was playing this match as pretty much the tweener babyface role, and Marshall was the heel, which, I mean, makes sense. Everyone loves Hook. But so funny, he was making Marshall look silly. He hit a high collar suplex and then a Taz suplex on the outside. Marshall followed up in the ring his suplex and an elbow for 1 count. Hook hit a beautiful Northern Lights suplex for 2. And then Marshall got caught in the red room, and Hook locked in the hooks, and Marshall had a tap out. Hook gets the victory in front of a great crowd in Orlando, and vanquishes QT Marshall. Now, again, Hook is still very young and very new, but obviously his popularity is riveting in AEW. So, I mean, progress him well. If there's one thing, we saw it with Hook and we saw it with Wardlow on the main card. 2 guys that are progressing well, and they're just getting better. And Hook obviously is younger than Wardlow and much different situation, but still, Hook, you know, in a few years, I know it's gonna be tough. He's very popular, and that hair is wacky, but he's very popular. He's getting better, so we'll see. But just progressing nicely. And then I mentioned that there were 2 debuts. Well, there were, but there was also a third, but a in-ring debut on the buy-in of one Buddy Matthews. He teamed up with the House of Black, him, Black, and Brody King against Pac, Penta, and Eric Redbeard. Oh my gosh. I mean, how can you not look at the House of Black and their entrance and the way they look and the way they operate? How can you not think these guys will fit great as the inaugural Trios champions in AEW? I mean, Black, Brody King, and Buddy Matthews. I mean, it's crazy, but this was fun. You know, we got a fast start between Black and Pac, and then we got tags in to Penta and Buddy Matthews. And this is when it really kind of took the excitement, I would say, up to another level. Because Buddy Matthews, we know, is great. Or Penta, excuse me, is great. Seeing how both these guys can operate in the ring, this was a great exchange for what it was. So then finally, the big guys, King and Redbeard, they were tagged in. They tried shoulder tackling each other into oblivion, but no big guy would move or give in. But then Redbeard, once his spell to the outside, took out the members of the house for the time being. Then back in after some double team. King hit a cannonball in the corner for near fall. Big tag to Pac. Buddy Matthews hit a draping double arm DT, which stunned Pac, and then tag to Penta, backstabber, 2 sling blades, hit brutal destroyer in one swift motion after a victor roll to Black into a destroyer on Buddy for near fall. Eric Redbeard hit a modified cutter on Black for near fall. Poison Rana by Pac. Brody King actually lifted up Redbeard, hit a Death Valley driver for a near fall. Then credit to Brody King. This is how athletic the big guy is. His Suicida to the outside. Penta hit a Fear Factor on the apron. And then back in the ring, Buddy hit a curb stomp to Penta for their fall. Finally, chaos ensued in the ring. Black spewed the mist in Redbeard's face. And Brody King hoisted up Redbeard for a Thunder Driver for the win. The House of Black gets the victory. And just a great scene at the end of Bryan. Not much to say, just great to see. Now, the main show. After all that, now to the main show. Actually, 1 second. 1 second. And the momentum just kept going from the buy-in. But so the main show started off for Revolution. And I was curious to see which match was going to open the show. Perhaps the ladder match, perhaps the tag team title match, or the women's title match. No. Eddie Kingston and Chris Jericho. This match, Chris Jericho, for being in his 50s, the shape he has put himself in since for the last number of months. I mean, considering where he was just a few months ago to now, it's great to see the dedication and what he's doing at his age. It's just great to see. Here against Eddie Kingston, they deliver. This was just brutal. It was as you expect. I mean, Kingston started off with a half and half suplex, which rung the bell of Jericho, but they still went on with the match. So Kingston hit a neckbreaker from their fall. Jericho hit a suplex, snap suplex to the outside, hit trio German suplexes, then lion salt for their fall. He hit not one but two code breakers, but Kingston kicked out, walked in the walls, but Kingston managed to get to ropes. But the end of the match, Kingston dropped Jericho with his back fist, and then Kingston tapped out Jericho with a stretch plum submission hold. And I mean, Jericho tapping out to Kingston. This match, very solid to open show. They did not shake hands. Jericho said he would shake Kingston's hand if Kingston won. Kingston won, but that was not the case. But Kingston gets a big pay-per-view win over Chris Jericho. Considering how he fared last year, great to see for Kingston. And then to follow up with the opener, this one start kicking another gear. This tag team match between these three teams was epic. Epic. All over the place, but it was good. Very good. Jurassic Express vs ReDRagon and Young Bucks. So crazy how ReDRagon, you know, they did so well in the regular NXT. And to see where they are now is just a thing of beauty. Young Bucks, of course, are arguably the best tag team on the planet. Jurassic Express, trying to hone their in on their tag team title reign. Of course, been there since day one, but now it's finally the reign and looking to make the most of it. This match, getting into it, Jungle Boy hit Tope on the outside, which wiped out all the competitors except Luchasaurus. Young Bucks hit assisted senton by Nick. ReDRagon followed up. Now, the rules of this were only 2 men were in the ring at once, and you could tag in and out with anyone. So, ReDRagon hit backbreaker knee drop for near fall. Luchasaurus, he hit a moonsault to the outside, which took out ReDRagon. Then a destroyer by Nick in the middle of the ring. And then Luchasaurus was just delivering chokeslams. Hit chokeslam on Matt for near fall. Jurassic Express hit a Doomsday Device. And then double team on Jungle Boy for a 2 count. And then, so O'Reilly had a knee bar or a heel hook walked in on Jungle Boy and in the middle of the ring. So then Nick Jackson and Spectacular Version broke it up with a senton off the top rope. So then Jurassic Express hit assisted shooting star press by Jungle Boy for a near fall. Looked great. And then it was broken up by a 450 by Nick. I mean, geez. So O'Reilly got one of the belts, hit Jungle Boy in the face with it for a 2 count. They hit their high-low finisher, but that was enough. The Bucks hit the BT trigger, but that wasn't enough. A tope by Luchasaurus took out the rest of the competitors. And Jurassic Express followed up with the Thoracic Express. That big assisted powerbomb on Matt for the win. Jurassic Express retains. I know I picked ReDRagon, but, I think Jurassic Express, of course, they still just won the titles at the start of the year. So, I mean, very much they're still gaining ground in the tag team division. And there's still a plethora of teams in the division that could challenge for Jurassic Express. But this match was the best match available with the Battle Royals, and this definitely delivered. So then we got the Face of the Revolution ladder match, which, AEW does a bunch of ladder matches, which, makes it difficult for one to top or stand out the rest. But this definitely showed out in many ways. And the field in this match, it just knew it was going to be great with all competitors involved. But this was great, So, yet the behemoths in Keith Lee, Wardlow, and Hobbs start off one another. Orange Cassidy came in, went for his dangerous super kicks. And so Hobbs and Wardlow were both going after Lee, but Orange Cassidy climbed off the backs of both Wardlow and Hobbs to try to grab the ring above. One of the innovative spots in the match you like to see. So then Christian, of course, was the first to install the ladder, knocking all competitors to the outside. He and Hobbs were exchanging above on a ladder. Christian had a reverse DT off the ladder. And then Keith Lee, it's great to see, because he's shown how good an athletic big man can be. He literally jumped over both Starks and Christian Cage in this match. Great to see. Nailed them both with a crossbody. So Orange Cassidy was hurled to the outside of the ring on all the competitors, landed on his tailbone. Looked brutal. So then, of course, the two big horses, Keith Lee and Wardlow, they had a standoff in the middle of the ring. Crowd was eating it up. So Keith Lee, he was in between the turnbuckle and a ladder that was bridged in the corner. So Hobbs threw Orange Cassidy at this ladder that was sandwiching Keith Lee between it and the turnbuckle. And then launched a superplex that was on top of Keith Lee to Orange Cassidy. That was hell of a spot. So then there was a ladder set up in the corner. Hobbs was speared by Christian onto the ladder. Starks, he had a ladder in the corner. He propelled himself through this ladder and nailed a spear to Christian off the top rope. So then, basically everyone was on top of two ladders in the middle of the ring, and pretty much everybody was sent off both the ladders, and then melee ensued from the ring to the stage area. So Hobbs and Lee, they were exchanging near the announce table. And then Wardlow, with a big shoulder tackle, sent both Hobbs and Keith Lee off the stage through some tables off the stage, took them out for the rest of the match. So then there was a bridge, or a ladder bridge, in between one ladder that was in the ring and then the ropes. So Ricky Starks, he was about to win this thing, but Danhausen came out from underneath the ring, cursed Ricky Starks, and he got taken out at the end of the match. So clearly it worked on Starks, but not Wardlow, who won the match. Wardlow, he powerbombed Starks onto this bridge, went up the ladder, unhooked the ring, and won the Face of Revolution ladder match. He will get the winner of Scorpio Sky versus Sammy Guevara. The winner of Wednesday's Dynamite will face Wardlow. You know, like I mentioned with Hook, Wardlow was brought in to be MJF's bodyguard, and he didn't wrestle a lot, but when he did, he made it count, and he's progressed, and he's just gotten more over and more over, and it's something that is just a joy when you see homegrown talent. Guys that really had some value, but not a big name, and took them to AEW and have grown them. And that is what AEW has done with Wardlow. And it's just great to see. Him versus Sammy will be fun. It will be fun. So then, as I mentioned, Shane Swerve Strickland, aka the former Isaiah Swerve Scott, is All Elite. He came out there with Tony Schiavone, signed the contract, asked whose house is it, and the crowd replied Swerve's house. He's going to have some great matches here in AEW, and it's going to fit very nicely. So we got Jade Cargill versus Ty Conti. This was now Jade Cargill. She looks like $1 million, and ever since finding out about her training with Ryan Danielson, she is improved. Now, she's not all there, but she's getting better. That's what you like to see, improvement. She did kiss Ty Conti at the start match, which I'm sure many wouldn't complain or didn't have any problem with, but that was definitely a shark way to start the match. And then Anna Jay, who was there to support Ty Conti, she got taken out. Indian Ty Conti was dropped on top rope and then was taken out with the Jaded by Jade Cargill for the win. Jade retains. You know, Jade, I love that she dressed up like Jade from Mortal Kombat. Because, Jade Cargill, you know, especially with green hair. I mean, it's a weird touch, sort of firing back at those who call her green on a line, but it is what it is. Still, we love to see her improve, and that's the gist of it. And then, so with the three big matches to open the main card, this match next, CM Punk vs MJF Dog Car match. It was violent, it was brutal, but it was as advertised. I get it. The first couple matches were all over the place, but this match was obviously more methodical. And the story of this match for the last few months, dimming down to this match, was good. I wasn't all that excited about the outcome, or I should say the winner, but I think this match and the story um, kind of eased it, per se. So, CM Punk came out with the news of Tony Khan buying Ring of Honor the other day on Dynamite. CM Punk came out to his old Ring of Honor theme song, which was great to see. Interesting touch. So, of course, both were tied around the neck. Funny stuff. So, Punk was busted open, and MJF got the mic and said to MJ, or Punk rather, why don't you quit like you quit on me, like you quit on everyone else 7 years or 8 years ago? And Punk replied just simply, eat shit, Max. So that was fun there. But, MJF with Punk, you can see the scars on the back of Punk. MJF actually locked in the sleeper hold with the chain. There was thumbtacks involved. A superplex for near fall into the tacks. MJF locked in the salt to the earth, which was a great visual. With the chain, with CM Punk's blood. it was just a great visual to see in the Salt of the Earth. Great by the camera crew. CM Punk tried to lock in the Anaconda Vice, but to no avail. MJF was actually lacerated as well. CM Punk actually hit a tombstone on the apron. And this is where the finish came. So, Wardlow came out, after his big victory earlier. Came out in a suit. MJF was asking for the ring, but Wardlow was having trouble. Saying he doesn't have the ring, he can't find the ring. And then so MJF was dragged back to CM Punk and was hit with the GTS. And then Wardlow found the ring, placed it in the ring, and walked away. Kind of signifying maybe, perhaps it's it for MJF and Wardlow. So, CM Punk grabbed the ring. He looked at MJF. MJF spat in the face of CM Punk. Was hit in the face with a ring. 1, 2, 3. And CM Punk beats MJF in this brutal match. Dog count match. I mean, I get it with the segment that happened on Wednesday. I mean, I get it. It's just, MJF, especially with the main event, I thought, okay, with CM Punk going over, perhaps we get a new world champion in the main event. That was not the case, but still interesting. So we get Thunder Rosa for Britt Baker. This match, considering what we saw on Wednesday, I was optimistic about. And the match was still okay. It's just right after that match with CM Punk and MJF, it just felt like a letdown for fans, I guess you could say. So, Britt was targeting Rosa's shoulder, or actually she had flatlined her into the ropes or turnbuckle, targeted Rosa's shoulder, hit a Uranagi suplex for a near fall, along with another butterfly suplex. Rosa, she hit a superplex or a avalanche brainbuster into a TKO and then a sliding lariat for a near fall. They were on the top rope. Britt hit an avalanche air crash. Then tombstone pile driver by Rosa, but the referee was distracted. Britt hit a curb stomp on the belt for a near fall. And then finally, after a final curb stomp, Britt Baker wins, and she retains the AEW Women's Championship. So, at first I was disappointed, but then I realized, A, with what happened on Wednesday on Dynamite, and B, with St. Patrick's Day Slam, is going to be in San Antonio in a few weeks. It makes sense, for Thunder Rosa to win the title there. So, it makes sense. It makes sense. So, but still, tough spot, I would say, for the women after that dog collar match. But yeah, it's unfortunate when you have these great matches at a pay per view. There's going to be one match that probably gets not as much love. And it's just timing. This match, though, between Moxley and Bryan, you just loved that. This match was nothing but a fight, a technical bout, and just every bit you loved. So they were actually exchanging yes kicks. Moxley his version of the yes kicks, but then Moxley got locked into a guillotine choke to no avail. Moxley, he was getting hit with shots, getting hit with kicks, but he was egging Bryan on, like, come on, hit me stronger. So Bryan hit a suicide to the outside, and I didn't see it, but Moxley was cut wide open over his head. So, and then another great visual. So Bryan locked in a dragon sleeper with the hooks in, while a bloody Moxley, and it was just geez. So, but Moxley got to ropes, or got out of it. They were exchanging submissions, but in the end, both were stomping at each other's faces. And then Moxley was stomping at Bryan's head, walked in a bulldog choke, but Bryan countered to a running knee for a near fall. And then the finish of the match, which I can understand if people were a little upset in execution. Moxley was locked into the triangle choke by Bryan, and Moxley rolled through with a bridge so that way Bryan's shoulders would be on the mat. So while the triangle choke was locked in, the referee counted Bryan's shoulders, and there was that. So Bryan was confused, didn't accept it. So then they were brawling afterwards, and out came officials, and out came William Regal. William Regal. He came out there to try to settle this between Moxley and Bryan. Slapped the crap out of Moxley. Slapped the crap out of Bryan. Ordered both to shake hands. And I mean, one heck of debut for Sir William Regal. I mean, whether it's on screen, whether it's backstage, William Regal would be a great addition to AEW. And I mean, it was not too long ago you saw him on NXT for WWE, but geez. Then we got the trios match, and this was, I mean, some of the spots in this match, I was just like, dang, you know, how crazy can some of these guys get? But yeah, we got some crazy wrestlers in AEW. So, or well, so this match pretty much got out of hand quick. Both were because Texas tornado style, so all were to the outside, all were using weapons, chairs, trash cans, etc. Matt Hardy, he was set up on a chair by Sting, and then a trash can was over his head, and then Darby launched out a can pretty much with his suicida, knocks over Matt Hardy, who has this trash can over his head, sitting on his chair. I mean, yikes. So Andrade dropped Sammy onto the barricade with suplex, had who sucked. And then, so just craziness, but so there were two tables set up on the stage area. So Sammy Guevara and Isaiah Cassidy were flying up on one of the tunnels, the entrance tunnels. Sammy Guevara, like a freaking maniac, lands a Spanish slide off the entrance tunnel through these tables. Now, obviously, he had to modify it a bit because if he landed flush, he was probably going to get cut by the table. But still, crazy spot. I mean, no room for error. I mean, just crazy. And then Sting. I mean, Sting for in his 60s. Andrade was set up on 3 tables, and Sting was in the crowd. Launched himself off through the crowd, launched onto Andrade through these tables. I mean, for a 60-year-old Sting, I mean, just it's hard to fathom how well he's doing this in spurts, but he's still being reckless. He's still being able to do solid spots, and just great for him. After these crazy spots, the finish kind of put a damper, but eh. So Darby had a chair wrapped around his neck, and it looked like Matt Hardy was going for a twist of fate, but Darby countered. Hey, Scorpion Deathlock, or Death Drop, rather, onto the chair on Matt Hardy, and then went for a coffin drop, but missed. Or Matt Hardy launch out at the last second, and Darby missed Matt Hardy, but that was the win. And Darby, Sting, and Sammy get the win in this crazy match. Crazy. You know, I love Matt Hardy. I've been a Hardy Boys fan for ever since I was tiny. But seeing Matt Hardy in these kind of spots, it's a little difficult to see. It's a little difficult. Now, I imagine because Jeff Hardy is going to go to AEW, he and Matt Hardy will have one last run as the Hardy Boys. Then I figure both will call it quits. I just hope, I mean, I just hope they don't do too much in this final run and they make it work. That's all I have to say. But one crazy match is all I have to say between these six. So then we got the main event, the culmination of all this great stuff at Revolution. The main event, you thought, okay, it may be a drawback or a come down period for this main event. But this very much delivered. Hangman versus Adam Cole for the AEW World Championship. Adam Cole, you know, for those who I didn't really watch or not much into Halo, but Master Chief, and you know, Adam Cole loves video games. So he kind of drifts himself up in this like Halo armor, pretty much. So that was in decent little add to his entrance. But this match, I mean, not much to say. So Cole wrenched Hangman's arm on the apron. Um, it looked like Cole was going for a Hurricanrana, but was caught in midair. But countered to a backstabber on the page. Cole went for a Panama Sunrise, but caught a big boot right in midair by Page. Page then powerbombed Cole on the apron. His top rope moonsault, which always looks great to the outside. And then for those who have watched Adam Cole versus Ricochet NXT a couple years ago, get a little nostalgia for this, but this was a great spot. Page went for another moonsault in the middle of the ring, but Cole come in midair flush with a beautiful super kick for a 2 count. So then Page hit a dead eye for a near fall. Cole managed to hit a Panama Sunrise. And then there were the timekeeper's table set up near the ring. So They were fighting on the apron. Paige hit a dead eye on Adam Cole through this table. I mean, hard swat there. Paige managed to hit a tombstone. And then right at the end of the match, we saw ReDRagon, the Dark Order, Young Bucks. They came out to the ringside, but that melee ended. Paige hit a buckshot lariat, but Cole managed to get to the ropes. But then Paige hit one final buckshot lariat on Cole for the win. Hangman and Page retains the AEW World Championship in a great ending match to a great card for Revolution. Now, with Page winning and Punk winning, this sets up a strange dynamic because, Page, you think now, still have 2 months away till or Double or Nothing. But so MJF could still get some more wins under his belt and challenge for Page at Double or Nothing. But with both winning, it sets up a different dynamic. So I mean, we'll see. But overall, a great card. Obviously the TBS Championship match, and actually both women's matches on the card kind of got sore spots because of dog car match, etc. But I mean, wow, what a pay-per-view. And AEW just keeps getting better with the roster. They already did 1 million in pay-per-view buys for Double or Nothing on the first day. So I mean, geez, not much to say about their getting better. So there's that. But nonetheless, that's review, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, of course, click that like, the subscribe in the corner. Thank you all. Be safe. Be back Thursday and Saturday. Thank you all. Be safe. I'm getting out of here. Peace.